Hi Libras, and welcome to your August 2020 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to talk to you about the energies coming in for your month ahead in August. Thank you so much for being here with me, Libras. If you guys get the chance to subscribe to this channel, I would love that. It is so helpful. It's not a big deal for someone to subscribe, but it's a big deal for the channel. So if the reading resonates, or if you would like to potentially be notified when more readings in the future come, be sure to hit the subscribe button. So Libra, August of 2020, interesting time for you that does not really require too much, actually. I think that you're one of the signs that is actually doing very good with the sense that everything needs to be contextual right now. It's kind of tough for all of us to some degree to know that we want other things in our lives, but at the same time understand that there's a demand for context right now and a demand to have some amount of affinity or some amount of experience with what we are choosing to engage our day with. So yeah, can it be boring? I think so. I think we're all in a place where boredom can hit in August, but within that acceptance, there's a level of like a flash of insight that Libra can get this month, and a connection point with other people that is very strong as well. You've got 2 of Cups, you've got 3 of Cups, and 9 of Cups in your reading. So amongst some of these difficult experiences that you've been going through for a long time, you are finally seeing what it means to be a friend with somebody, what it means to connect with another individual, and no longer does that have to be something difficult or worrisome now, because you're really getting a grasp on like the little things, on the small aspects of a relationship. I do think that this month has mostly to do with relationships for you. Unlike a lot of the other signs, it seems like you are connecting with people more. It seems like the human presence in your life. So not as much the presence of a career or the presence of, a health journey. Those things are still here and they're here for all of us. But it feels like August for Libra is really about the human ideas, the presence of other people. So that's interesting to see. Also, okay, so tiredness or feeling like you're not in the right place, or feeling like you're not connecting to others in the way that you want to, that is here too. So you've got Death, 10 of Swords, 4 of Swords, and 10 of Wands. Something's feeling exhausted, okay, in your energy. And I felt this as I was meditating on your energy, that August is a really vital time as you connect into a build up to your time of the year coming in September. You will see anything that's futile. I've mentioned this in Leo and Virgo's reading too, and it keeps coming up over and over again. The futile aspects of our lives, the things that we've identified as unpleasant or exhausting, can now really be contextual, and we can get abundance from those things. But we have to really understand as Libra people what we've clearly known to be not good for us anymore. And if you're a Libra who has gotten clear on that and who has been able to make the appropriate action and get out of things that were exhausting or burning you out, what an incredible, beautiful month. However, because here's the tough thing for all the cardinal signs this year, dealing with context, you can really force something to be too contextual or staying for too long when it was only meant to be like a certain feeling that you have that is the best throughout the day, that was meant to be carried on or meant to be, really dragged out and continued. What do I mean? People who burn you out, people who exhaust you, people who use all of your emotional resources and who demand that and who are entitled to it, that's definitely coming up for you guys this month, and coming up as something that you do complete, end, or rest from now. So 4 of Swords is coming in really strong too. So you are in a resting phase. You are really coming into a place where you can overcome and heal from those like long-running energy vampires in your life. And as you do that, there really is a new door that opens. We're all kind of like opening a door this month, and it's neither good or bad whether this new experience that we see for ourselves is being accessed right now. But how much energy do you have when you're moving into that, when you're creating that, when you're inspiring yourself, the more the better. The more inspiration, the better. The more energy that you have as you feel inspiration, the better. So, okay, this is super interesting, actually. Pay really close attention when you're stepping into inspiration, when you're stepping into aspirations as well. How much energy do you have in that moment when you're getting like these flashes or these ideas for the future? There's a blurry line I've discovered when we are visualizing or perhaps trying to manifest. There's a blurry line between that being right and that being a coping mechanism, okay? And when it's a coping mechanism, it only really helps you to cope. It's not really creating what you want, or it's not really creating something new other than maybe a reality that feels better, which is important and that's valuable. But there's a bit of a disconnect there too, where you might think that you're manifesting or you're visualizing or you're creating a new role for yourself when you're only really coping from a betrayal in the past. You know, you've got that Ten of Swords, you've got death. So a lot of your month is dealing with coping with long-running betrayals or long-running, surprises that were not favorable. So try to not trick yourself up too much with it and think, okay, I'm going to pursue that position of power, or I'm going to pursue, that, lofty experience, when in reality what you're connecting into is just healing and seeing yourself as valuable, or seeing yourself as capable of rising above these old things. And it might not have as much to do with the position or the new role or the new aspiration as it does to just prove to yourself that you have the ability to be self-sufficient, or the ability to compromise with yourself. That is better, okay? And that can be a little bit more simple, okay? So as the last intuitive message before we jump into the week-to-week messages, you can cope easier than you think that you can, okay? It doesn't take some of the grandeur that I'm kind of feeling for your sign too right now. That's great. So it's fine to be grand as a Libra right now, I think. I think that that's okay, but it needs to be for the sake of that, not for the sake of like coping or for the sake of an emotional retribution towards the self. And can it ever be? I'm trying to understand if grandiosity can really ever be anything but a type of self-retribution after a trauma. I suppose that it could be, especially if it comes very naturally and if it's not that significant. But yeah, definitely this whole side of the zodiac, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, just got to kind of watch out for grandiosity or these ego-based ideas being illusory or being an emotional cause, not an actual like physical manifestation. So it's an important food for thought for you guys. Let's talk about the week-to-week Libras. So week number 1 of August, death rooted down by the Two of Cups. So the death of a relationship, okay? You might have been coping with that for a long time now. Maybe you're also changing the way that you connect to yourself too. So, the way that you see yourself, your self-image. Because Two of Cups is not only about relationships that are romantic with other people. It is also about how we connect to ourselves and how we relate to ourselves. That's going to really change up for you in the first week of August, and I think that that's so great. I don't see any problem with that. You want to make sure you're giving it life, though, okay? So that's, to me, what's not a good thing about that energy is that you might think, okay, I don't have to really relate to myself anymore. I've finished, I've evolved, I've come to a point where no longer do I have to kind of look within, no longer do I have to, make my own meals in such a loving way. There's kind of a distraction there too. So you want to really maybe amp up your game with connecting to yourself in a new transformative way. What that can also mean, yes, is a breakup for some Libras, or coping from a breakup, or building, healing yourself after a breakup as well. That could be. Again, it's not for a lot of Libras. It's not a breakup right during that week. It could be for some, but it's mainly about a level up as a result of a breakup coming through at that time. So week number 2, you guys have 10 of Wands rooted down by 9 of Cups. It feels like you're working too hard to open the next door. So this is coming up over and over again this month. We're all kind of trying to open a door in August. We're like, okay, I'm going to peek inside. Am I going to do this? Am I going to, take on this, new project or goal? It's very goal-oriented, this Leo season. Like, we're like, ooh, I really want to achieve. I really want to aspire. I really want to be inspirational as a person. There's a lot of that. It really works for some people, and Libra is definitely a sign that it can work well with. But I don't think it has to be so hard. So 10 of Wands, August needs to really show us how we can make our lives easier on ourselves, especially as Libras. To me, what that says is you don't have to work so hard to open these new doors. Contrarily, okay, there's another sort of class of Libra people where it's like, now we have to work hard to do it, okay? And you'll know which place you're coming from. If you've been constantly working hard over like the last few months, you've been putting in the hours, you've been consistent, it's going to be more so along the lines of, okay, you can take the pressure off a little bit. You can open things up for yourself. Or if you're a Libra who's had some really grand ideas, but it's been a more relaxed time and you know what you want to do, but you haven't laid the groundwork yet, now we start to work hard. So it just depends on where you're coming from, but one way or another in the second week of August, a new door is opening up for you. And something relating to the energy that you're outputting to elicit that needs a shift, okay? We come just from the death card, so we need to transform also the way that we're outputting energy, the way that we're working, the way that we're establishing consistency in our lives. There's so much energy of 10, okay, in your reading. You know, the death card, 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords. So you're in a major ending phase right now, so it's good to understand like what, and maybe also like initiate or, what do I want to say? Like find an intention that is very clear and conscious about what you do and don't want in your life, you know? I'm hoping that that's super clear for you guys by now so that it's not too much of a surprise what like goes out. But yeah, second week, it's kind of like a nice little riddle for you too in the second week. Like something, it's like, what's the password, you know, what's the riddle? Have you solved the riddle by the second week? Interesting, Libra. A riddle in your life needs to be solved by then. So congratulations with those with finally hopefully coming to the solution to that long running riddle. Third week Libras, Queen of Swords rooted down by 4 of Swords. So many Libras who are ahead of the game or have totally already understand this. So for those of you who already understand this, you know, it's just sort of like autopilot at this point in time. But I hope that you guys are super clear on what it means to be like energetically healthy, what it means to have, you know, enough energy throughout the day, like the requirements of like diet, sleeping, and you know, time management that it takes to have just a baseline of energy. So it's so important, and maybe you guys can actually sort of be an example for a lot of other people, because I think that a lot of us being so solar plexus, being so goal oriented and egocentric right now, we undermine and have no real value invested into what it actually takes to have the energy to do what it is that we want. So third week of August for Libras who've been like workaholics, or for Libras who haven't even necessarily been workaholics, but maybe just very subject to whims, or, you know, sleeping whenever they want, all of that kind of stuff. That has to really get clear by then. There's a good formula, okay, a good routine, a good regimen relating to rest and relating to healing your body coming in the third week. So yeah, a great time for a massage, for a sauna, for something new with the diet that is wholesomely and unquestionably positive. So keep things positive. Yeah. Another minor arcana death energy though as well. 4 of Swords is like the minor arcana death card. So you'll have another echo of something ending. What I would love to see end for you guys is, how can I explain this? Scorpio's kind of having this too. What would I say? What I would really like to see end is there are like these bursts, or there are these, I almost want to call them like manic insights that happen at inconvenient times that aren't really good for your energy. Really learning how to focus our energy in a way that we are resting when required, and we're, you know, up and energetic when required. Third week of August should really help out with that. Okay, fourth week of August, 3 of Cups rooted down by 10 of Swords. It's not really a time for social butterflies. Virgo season is strongly in effect by then, and oh my gosh, we have so much to fix in Virgo season for a lot of us. And for Libras, it's actually feeling like an acquaintance group, or feeling like a friend group, or feeling like a network of people who are not maybe super close to you, but who know you in some degree of context. It feels like there's something there in the fourth week that undergoes a transformation. Again, Ten of Swords is another minor arcana death energy. So there's a lot of energy of death around Libras, and what do we know about that in the tarot sense, in the archetypal sense? It doesn't mean physical death, so don't worry. But it certainly does mean completion, okay? Endings. And we're not talking glamour endings. We're not talking like, well, I'll just kind of, ghost that person or block that person or stop talking to that person. And maybe if the time's right in the future, we'll try again. There's no trying again, Libras, okay? I gotta be firm. With some of these things in your life, there's no trying again, okay? And that's really important to grasp for everybody, not just for you guys. I'm probably gonna have to mention this in some other readings as well, but we're really like encapsulating ourselves in like rock, in like steel, with the Leo, Capricorn, Virgo energy. It's like the growth of such a firming, solidifying energy. So the things that we cast out now, the things that we break up with now, the subtle messages or hints that we send to another person about dissatisfaction, okay? Anything along these lines, there's a finality about it, okay? There's a completion about that, and for many of us, there's no epilogue or sequel to some of these things, so I'm getting major chills. And that's not just you, Libra. That's not to create fear. That's not to create worry, but it's important. It's vital that Libras, among other signs, have a really firm understanding of the power of what they choose to complete right now, or what they choose to terminate, or what they choose to finish, or what they choose to conclude. Because as we move from like Virgo to Scorpio season, there's going to be this like jaunt of like completionist energy. I'll talk more about that in the future, because it's not in yet, and I don't want to focus it now because it's not really the time yet. But as we're moving towards the 4th week of August, that's really starting to come in. And Libra feels to be really getting it early, actually, earlier than the other signs. So you're going to be very much an example, Libra. People are going to be looking to you. People are going to be seeing you and sort of drawing their own conclusions based on what they see happening in your life. So yeah, if you've got people super close to you, if you're in a relationship, if you have a family, if you're a people person, watch out for discouraging anybody from anything, okay? Recommending that somebody else break up with another person, because there's a bit of a gossip thing with the 3 of Cups, okay, and 10 of Swords. So that's, to me, those two energies together to me like indicate a breakup as a result of gossip, or a support network of another person having too large of an impact on a person who's not well known by the support network. It's a very indirect type of ending energy. So watch out for just any indirect forms of power in your life. Like, where is the power in your life, Libra? It's good to really directly understand it and wield it, instead of also taking a passive role, or letting a friend of yours elicit a breakup in your relationship when maybe you just needed to break up with the person, having, or even because it always comes full spectrum. It's never not. It's we've all been there. I've been there, where a third party, acquaintance of a relationship wields the power in a relationship, and that is something in this time that there's no reason to make that last for the next 30 years, with this big Saturn injection that we're dealing with. So yeah, watch out for third parties, okay? Third parties in relationships, the best friends of the people in the relationships, the acquaintances of the people in the relationships, the co-workers, anything like that. Just keep it clear. Anyway, Libra, final message that I'll talk about for your general reading for August. There's an ability for you also to be very solitary right now. That's really good with the 4 of Swords, Queen of Swords. You're having great ideas in solitude, all right? You're having a very nice connectivity with your destiny. Some of us might call it. Not all of us believe in destiny, but there's a great ability to just really connect your purpose to your truth here, okay? That's purpose and truth consolidating, where we're not tricking ourselves anymore about our purpose, or we're not... it's nice when that becomes a very honest experience, you know, where purpose becomes something honest. So that's sort of your goal this month. Anyway, Libras, thank you so much for being here. I hope the reading resonated for you. We're right at 20 minutes now. I am going to be putting together an extended reading on Patreon. If you guys would like to come over and delve even deeper into the energy of Libra, we're going to look at a central theme and two supporting themes for you guys, and see what's above these messages as well. As always, your likes, comments, and subscribes here on YouTube make my day. Please hit that subscribe button if you get the chance. If you went through this reading, this is a free content, so it's very, very helpful to this channel to receive subscribes and likes. So do that if you have the opportunity. And without further ado, I'm going to leave a link to the extended reading in the center of the video, and it will be linked below in the description box as well. Thank you so much, Libras. I will talk to you soon. Bye.